Yeah, I'm so sorry. We're going to have to take this call at a different time. I know this timing works for you, but unfortunately, it doesn't work for me. I'm supposed to be over at University of Lynchburg right now giving a keynote address, and you are jacking up my schedule. Oh, hey, sorry you had to hear that. That was my old buddy Murphy over at Murphy's Law Firm, insisting that I get COVID-19 the day after I get to Lynchburg. Yeah, that seems to make sense, right? I fly all the way from California to give my keynote address from my hotel room, which is literally right down the street from where you are. I could be enjoying the festivities and celebrating with you on campus and meeting you and shaking hands and getting to know each of you and your amazing accomplishment. And instead, I am stuck in my room delivering my keynote to my computer. Brilliant. So I'm going to make the best of this. Hopefully you still manage to gain something from this experience, as crazy as it may seem. So here we go. Good morning. It is my extreme honor and pleasure to be here. President Morrison Shetler, Dr. Welsh, Provost, Associate Provost, friends, faculty, staff, exceedingly brilliant and patient spouses, your kids who are probably crushing Minecraft in survival mode right now as we speak, tuning me out probably. And let's not forget about you guys, all right? The graduating class of 2022, Doctor of Medical Science degrees in the house. Let's hear it. I want to hear it from you. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I'm down on Church Street. You got to yell. Okay, it's coming in. A little louder. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Now we're talking. Congratulations, you guys. You did it. You've arrived. It is my extreme honor to share this amazing day with each of you and unleash what I promise will be your very last, but most epic, 8-hour PowerPoint presentation that you'll ever hear. You may now begin rescheduling your flights, hire a sitter, and trust me, I'm not a complete monster. I mean, I did send over extra sunscreen, water, indwelling Foley catheters, and snacks, Cliff Bars, because trust me, you're going to be hanging on the edge of your seat every single second. 28,800 seconds to be exact. You laugh now, but I know for a fact that all of you have lived through seemingly absurd moments like this through the course of your studies, both here at the University of Lynchburg and elsewhere. It's mind-boggling, actually. I mean, taken all together, you have lived through thousands of hours of courses, PowerPoint presentations, quizzes, board exams, and many more years of advanced learning or experience in your respective trenches of clinical medicine or leadership roles. It has been an enormous amount of work and patience and long suffering for both you and your families. And putting it all in perspective, this very moment is perhaps the very last of its kind in pursuit of this type of formal education. And I am one of the very fortunate last persons you'll hear from at the end of this grueling journey. All that to say is I feel absolutely no pressure whatsoever. And as one of your peers and equal colleague, I mean, what could I possibly impart to you that would make any difference in your life at all going forward? So thank you and congratulations. That concludes my keynote address.
Just stay in the ring, Rocco.
Yo, got me, Mick. So I've been a PA for a very long time, and while I no longer practice as a PA, I still hold my C, I hold a California license, and I've had the honor and privilege of hiring some of the best and brightest PAs in the country for my company, Wells World Services. In fact, one of them is a graduate of this very program. As a PA, I have rooted for and championed this amazing profession over my now 26-year career in medicine. And while I obtained an MD degree later in my career, my heart is that of a PA. And being in both sets of shoes gives me a unique kind of empathy, or debilitating, soul-crushing identity crisis. Potato a potato. If polycareer paper chasing is a disease, I have an advanced and curable form of it. In fact, Dr. Welsh and I are starting a support group. You all are welcome to join us after you graduate today because, well, you now qualify. Call that number on your screen for help. And while it's certainly a massive sense of accomplishment to have obtained an advanced degree such as the Doctor of Medical Science, I liken it to taking the Matrix red pill. I'm sure you remember the moment from the film where our hero, Neo, takes the red pill, choosing to embrace the painful reality that the world is not as it seems. Your advanced doctoral training has now made you more acutely aware of those myriad metaphorical agent Smiths or those mechanical hunters known as the sentinels lurking about in your midst. For example, when it comes to patient safety, latent systems and human errors, often the result of sheer exhaustion and clinician burnout, have led to catastrophic sentinel events, which now, for the first time, have led to an indictment. Radonda Vaught RN is now both a felon and a victim. And on the heels of that epic tragedy, how are we to embolden ourselves, our colleagues, and hospital staff to report errors and near misses under a robust, just culture, all in the spirit of continual process improvement and patient safety, when doing so might end our careers, or worse, strip us of our basic freedoms entirely? How are we to move forward under the best intentions without feeling completely terrified? And how is that mind-boggling medication error still possible in today's modern era of clinical informatics, AI force function intervention? And how many of us thought when watching the news, whoa, that could have just as easily been me? Probably most of us. Are we truly at the precipice of a slippery slope? I certainly hope not. But it's this kind of controversy that tempts us to simply yank out our neo-head jacks from the back of our necks or down our Mr. Anderson blue pills and remain blissfully ignorant or superficially punitive under the illusion that all is well in the land of U.S. healthcare, thinking it's just a few bad apples. On the contrary, when it comes to the state of the U.S. healthcare system as a whole, with rare exception, we are not at all well. There's so much work to be done, so many vulnerabilities, so many deeply challenging problem sets yet to be conquered. My challenge to you today is to go boldly into your organizations and doggedly fight for the high ideals of balanced accountability and just culture, which exist to encourage you and your personnel to always look for and self-report human error, near misses, and system failure whenever and wherever possible, without fear of retaliation or losing one's job or livelihood. In championing this kind of humble transparency and self-awareness, we continue to improve healthcare quality and safety. Don't be a Mr. Anderson, or worse, an Agent Smith, allowing the Sentinels to take reign of your fortress. Instead, be a Neo. Stay humble, vulnerable, transparent, kind, graceful, inclusive, and go fight for your crews, your teams, and ultimately, your patients. Now, with regard to doctoral degrees for PAs, I remember far back enough when even obtaining a master's degree was thought to be excessive, an unnecessary flex. And I obtained my PA degree from the University of Southern California Keck School of Medicine back in the days when it conferred its first bachelor's degree. And of course, it was conferred by a Tyrannosaurus Rex because it was that long ago. And in the Jurassic period, the PhD was essentially the only advanced degree a PA could get, often taught on stone tablets in between running from raptors and pterodactyls. We've come a long way since then, and thank goodness the practice of medicine has come a long way as well. And the DMSc is the perfect fit in our profession's complex history. Before the DMSc, burgeoning PhD scholars were very excited over the opportunity to pile higher and deeper, or PhD, their knowledge set. And now DMSc candidates, considering their Mount Everest workload, can declare, dang, more science! DMSc, by PAs, for PAs. So go get some. The DMSc has now become the gold standard and best vehicle to propel PAs into executive leadership roles in private and nonprofit hospitals and businesses. Indeed, under the weight of the COVID-19 pandemic, PA program directors were often thrust right into the middle of higher-level institutional decision-making, taking their rightful seats, offering their expertise, and filling the vacuum when institutional knowledge couldn't keep pace with the ever-changing COVID-19 landscape. Not only did we rise to the occasion, our expertise became a permanent, indispensable source of knowledge. And as such, we were handed chief titles, along with responsibilities commensurate with those lofty positions. A great local example of this is our own Dr. Jeremy Welsh, who assumed the Chief Innovation Officer's seat here at Lynchburg. The pandemic may have served to hasten these advancements, but it took the very best of our highly trained individuals to see it through and actually pull the Excalibur sword from the stone. Speaking of the need for more science, I've recently read some fear-based articles predicated on a paucity of data, declaring that the PA doctoral degree and name change are unnecessary, all to the detriment and potential peril of our profession and the advancement of modern medicine in general. It pains me to see these arguments persist, unfortunately leveled by a few of my physician colleagues. And to what better end, I ask? Unfounded fear of turf encroachment and patient safety remain at the core of these squabbles. The whole diatribe reminds me of the movie Step Brothers, in which adult brothers Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly are forced to live together. Complete insanity ensues, and Dale warns his stepbrother Brennan, "Hey man, don't touch my drum set!" Sound vaguely familiar? Meanwhile, PAs have soared quite literally into space as the chief medical officer aboard a Falcon 9 rocket. Thank you, Elon Musk and PA astronaut Haley Arceneaux, for that amazing accomplishment. But it's true. PAs have become hospital CEOs, led massive APP teams in large academic medical centers, served presidents in the White House, held tenured university professor seats at top medical schools, and suffered with and saved the lives of critically ill COVID-19 patients as house officers in overcrowded ICUs all over the country, all the while working at the very top of their licensure. All the while continuing to fulfill their primary role, which is to help fill our country's massive void in access to what the Institute of Medicine declares safe, effective, patient-centered, timely, efficient, and equitable healthcare. No doubt the PA profession will continue to experience its often painful metamorphosis, challenging us to become better equipped and stronger physician-associate collaborators. But you can't keep us down. We are a resilient and steadfast cadre of clinicians and professionals, poised and ready to meet the vast challenges that lay ahead. The PA profession might have started out as the little brother to our physician colleagues, but now little Brennan is all grows up. We never said we wanted to grow up and be Dale. We Brennans just want to be adults sitting at the adult table making adult decisions. And while we can't promise we won't touch your drum set, you get the solo. I mean, you're John Bonham for Pete Townsend's sake, all right? You've taken more drum lessons than we have. You played more gigs than we have. We get it. But please don't lose sight of the fact that when push comes to shove, we too can manage the band, hold a very tasty groove, and stay in the pocket when it counts. You want more cowbell? We got more cowbell. The fact of the matter is, we PAs and physicians collaborating together make a pretty awesome garage band, destined for the Jumbotron. If we could just keep our wits about us and not break up under the pressures of life on the road, the incessant paparazzi and the glitz and the glam that go along with being rock stars and icons and... Okay, I've probably gone way too far here, but you get my point. The time for this bickering to cease is now. The time for renewed fervor in pursuit of clinical and academic excellence is now. The DMSc exists to do just that. It's here to stay. Physician associates are here to stay. We will and must continue to progress in our pursuit of knowledge and excellence. The enormous complexities of providing access to the very best medical care demanded. The ability to practice medicine, hold the lives of our patients in our hands, and expertly guide massive and complex healthcare organizations into the future demand an education that takes many, many years to achieve. I firmly believe it won't be long before the entry-level PA degree will be a doctorate degree. Are you listening, PAEA? And hopefully it's the DMSc, as to not cause any more confusion than we already have. I mean, how many different types of master's degrees are available for PAs these days, for crying out loud? And I lost count, a completely mind-numbing alphabet soup of confusion. Let's not do the same with the doctorate. I'm championing the DMSc not for reasons of degree creep or competing with our much-respected nurse practitioner colleagues for job placement or even replacing my esteemed physician colleagues, but for reasons of the sheer magnitude of the work at hand and the breadth of knowledge necessary to handle it in an elaborate, ever-expanding healthcare universe. I recently watched a new and fascinating Elon Musk interview in which he was asked to share his thoughts on the future of technology, including self-driving cars, clean energy production and storage, space exploration, and various forms of robotics, all ushering in what he called the age of abundance, all made possible by creating more efficient forms of energy, which will translate across all sectors of our world economy, business, manufacturing, and of course, medicine. And this got me to thinking, for mostly selfish reasons, if I'm being completely honest. I want this for my incredible wife and my wildly talented kids and their future kids. But thinking altruistically as well, I want it for all of us. I mean, for the whole world. And it's going to take all of us working together to achieve it, right? And at the risk of sounding way too much like John Lennon, imagine a world where we're not fighting over natural resources or boundaries, which would include access to scarce medical resources. Imagine a world where a great education and healthcare is available to every person on the planet. Imagine a healthcare world where quality and safety match the same level that SpaceX seeks in its pursuit of putting us on Mars, or Tesla putting exceptionally safe self-driving cars on every road in every major city in the US. We are almost there in all of these endeavors. I believe that access to sustainable and renewable sources of energy, AI, and robotics will usher in these possibilities, this age of abundance. Our Matrix Zion is just over the horizon. If we'll just down our red pills, keep our wits about us, love one another, share our drum sets, roll up our sleeves, and get to work. Thank you very much once again, University of Lynchburg, for this incredible honor. But most importantly, congratulations once again to our Doctor of Medical Science degree graduates. Godspeed, and go make us proud. Thanks.